It can be a struggle to make sense of the world in this era of deepfakes, AI, and your parents spreading misinformation on Facebook. No, Mom, a cinnamon roll can did not explode inside a shoplifter's butt. And if it did, he certainly wouldn't be pulling that face. All this confusion over what's real and what isn't is why you might want to sit down for the news that there's a very real possibility that world-famous footballer and definitely not martial artist Cristiano Ronaldo is about to become a playable character in upcoming SNK fighting game Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. I mean, Eric Cantona I would have understood. If this deeply incongruous tie-up seems weird to you, let us remind you that this isn't the first time there's been a bizarre inclusion of a real-world person in a fighting game. It seems this genre has previous. Unlike that shoplifter who, I swear to God, Mom, does not exist. Here are the 7 weirdest real people who are in fighting games.
Battle. Fist like Tekken. Jump kick, put tips on you in a second. Ready for the battle. You can pick the weapons. God fist combo. Here comes the blessing.
It's been said that here at the tail end of his career, rapper Snoop Dogg is just doing side quests now, from his many appearances at the Paris Olympics to his Youth Football League to his unlikely collaboration with Martha Stewart. Collaboration seems like the safest way to describe what's going on there. But if there's one area Snoop's been more active than anywhere else, it's recreational marijuana products. But a firm second place is video games, where Snoop has shown up as both a playable character and a voice for hire.
Guard dog rolled over for good.
Even with all that, the last place we expected Snoop to pop up was in the venerable Tekken series of fighting games, which tends to take itself pretty seriously. Apart from the fighting bears, and all the bits where Heihachi is in a Speedo, and like 75% of its endings. Okay, on reflection, we probably could have seen this coming. Mr. Dog shows up in the spin-off title Tekken Tag Tournament 2, but he's not actually even fighting. He is rather a spectator, albeit one with his own stage, a USA-set fighting arena succinctly called Snoop Dogg.
Round 1. Fight!
Get ready for the next battle.
In this arena, Snoop watches over the action from a throne on a raised platform, like a kind of permanently blazed Shao Kahn, while various dancers gyrate around in his general vicinity.
Jump kick, put tips on you in a second. Get ready for the battle.
The arena also features lowrider cars on hydraulic arms which do laps of the place, and enormous speakers blasting out Knock 'Em Down, a song Snoop composed specifically for Tekken Tag Tournament 2.
Tekken, jump kick, put tips on you in a second. Ready for the battle. You can pick the weapons.
To be honest, I too would prefer this over actually fighting. Smart move, Snoop.
Popping this off in 3, 2, King James. Have to represent.
I don't think I'm saying anything controversial when I say that LeBron James is an exceptionally good basketball player. And sometimes you get so good at something, your enormous popularity spills over into other areas such as music, or acting, or owning and operating an alcohol distillery.
You know, people come up to me all the time and they say, what makes aviation gin so delicious?
This has happened to LeBron James, most notably in his 2021 Space Jam sequel, Space Jam: A New Legacy, in which LeBron cements his position as the new Michael Jordan by playing basketball with a bunch of Looney Tunes.
Classic.
What that movie also did, however, apart from being a box office bomb and winning LeBron the Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Actor, was place King James in the Warner Brothers multiverse. This in turn meant that he got added to the Warner Brothers cross-IP fighting game Multiversus as a playable character. LeBron is a good all-round fighter who specialises in throwing hard basketballs into his opponents' faces and bodies, but it's always something of a surprise to see the NBA's all-time leading scorer dunking a basketball onto the head of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Or being attacked by Batman. And honestly, LeBron, I know you're good at basketball, but you might want to steer clear of Beetlejuice from Beetlejuice.
Defeat.
Told you.
Are you ready? Let's get ready to rumble!
We missed the Ready to Rumble series of video games. It was all the fun and pageantry of boxing, with none of the concerns about the long-term health implications of getting repeatedly hit in the head. This over-the-top pugilism parody binned off the real-world boxers and had a roster of colourful characters instead. That being said, it did include some real people, although they were anything but trained fighters. For example, Bill and Hillary Clinton,
You'll wish you had universal health care when I get through with you.
and basketball star Shaquille O'Neal.
All the way.
Where's your Shaq Fu now, eh? Strangest of all the cameos in this fighting game, however, has to be the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Despite actual Michael Jackson looking like he weighed 90 pounds in a big hat and could be knocked unconscious by a stiff breeze, in the game he's a precision punching powerhouse with one glittery boxing glove and a selection of seriously smooth taunts.
I'm gonna dance all over you!
And some truly spectacular combos.
Ah man, that was tight.
He's probably still enjoying getting knocked out more than appearing in Shaq Fu.
Even people who aren't wrestling fans are probably aware of professional wrestler The Undertaker, on account of how his gimmick, that of an undead Old West mortician, is one of the best and most enduring in wrestling history.
I don't think anybody can argue that The Undertaker is at the very top of the food chain here in WWE.
Or maybe because of that time he crucified Stone Cold Steve Austin on national TV. One of the two. That said, even legends can make mistakes, and The Undertaker did just that in the year 2000 when he decided that supernatural death wizards weren't cool anymore, and what he should be instead was a grungy biker called the American Badass.
Weighing 330 pounds, from Houston, Texas, The Undertaker!
This was obviously an enormously regrettable situation that everybody involved would rather forget, but it did have one perhaps unintended consequence that video game fans still remember to this day: the inclusion of Limp Bizkit frontman Fred Durst in a WWE video game. That's because not long after his debut as the American Badass, The Undertaker's theme changed from the Kid Rock song of the same name to Limp Bizkit's hit song about things that roll. Rollin'. This was perfect for The Undertaker on account of how he used to roll down to the ring on a big motorcycle, but it seems that using the song came with a condition that Fred Durst appear in the next WWE game. That game was 2001 SmackDown, just bring it, and to unlock Mr. Durst you had to play something called Slobber Knocker mode with The Undertaker and get at least 15 wins. Once you did, you were then free to play as the rap rock sensation responsible for such hits as Nookie? No? Okay, My Generation? Okay, fine. Fred had his own entrance in which he rode to the ring in a lowrider. And a unique finisher, a kind of windmill crucifix neck breaker?
There's a short-range attack. Cross backbreaker.
Damn, that looks likely to break stuff. Oh, come on, that is a Limp Bizkit song, you know that one, surely.
There goes the neighborhood.
Have you ever been watching one of the big wrestling companies like WWE or AEW, and as the various wrestlers are landing heavily on their heads and necks, thought to yourself, this is fun and all, but could it be significantly more unsafe? Well, then you seem like a prime candidate to enjoy the Backyard Wrestling Games, which brought a no-holds-barred, hardcore-inspired, somehow Juggalo-affiliated style of grappling to the PlayStation 2 and Xbox in the early 2000s. Aside from the astonishing amounts of violence, part of the appeal of the backyard wrestling games were their diverse rosters, which mixed legendary hardcore wrestlers like the Sandman, Vampiro, and Sick Nick Mondo with members of the Insane Clown Posse and various adult film performers. Possibly the most surprising addition to the roster for the second game in the series, however, was Andrew WK, the musician best known for his smash hit single about partying hard called Party Hard. Mr. WK isn't generally known as an advocate for violence. In fact, his public persona is one of positivity and acceptance, which is why it's an interesting choice to have him appear as a guest character in a game that allows you to batter Violent J from the Insane Clown Posse unconscious with a big hammer. But he did have several songs on the soundtrack, and according to this promotional interview for the game, a deep primal desire to see somebody get set on fire. So he decided to get involved in both backyard wrestling and the video game version thereof.
Where one of my friends lived, and he told me about these crazy kids at high school who on the weekends were having these big kind of secret wrestling matches where they were jumping off buildings and onto tables, and this one kid set himself on fire, got really badly burned, and there was a videotape going around. I'm like, wow, this is intense. I want to be involved in this somehow.
And involved in this he somehow is. I suppose all that getting hit in the face with folding chairs does finally explain the bloody nose he has on the I Get Wet album cover.
My mother told me to pick the very best one, and you are it.
We've already discussed one of the Tekken series' left field cameos, but clearly the inclusion of Snoop Dogg emboldened Namco to get really incongruous for Tekken 7. It's fair to say that Tekken 7 has a particular anime-adjacent aesthetic when it comes to its cast of characters. For the most part, it's beautiful shiny hair and skin clearer than the Invisible Man wearing see-through undies. May I remind you that in Tekken 7, Nina is supposed to be 43 years old. Where are the crow's feet? That's why it was such a surprise to see the authentically grizzled and highly realistic recreation of Jeffrey Dean Morgan arrive in some Tekken 7 DLC, where he played his Walking Dead character Negan.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
That's how you end up with a fairly convincing looking Jeffrey Dean Morgan sharing a scene with the more cartoonish and colourful cast of Tekken characters, menacing them with a nasty looking barbed wire baseball bat.
Lucille, give me strength.
But while his inclusion brings a realistic grittiness to the Tekken series that wasn't there before, it's equally weird when you see a convincing looking Jeffrey Dean Morgan interacting with the weirder elements of the game. Like for example, when he's mauled by a random tiger that just appears in the middle of a fight without warning. I feel like in the circumstances, goddamn is a relatively understated reaction. Beyond the obviously jarring fact that Jeffrey Dean Morgan looks like an actual human with an actual human face in a game full of skincare supermodels, it's also pretty strange to hear a character in the mostly clean-cut Tekken series using the word shit like it's going out of fashion.
Don't ask me for shit. I hope you got your shitting pants on.
Now, I don't watch The Walking Dead, but after the apocalypse, have people started wearing pants specifically for shitting in? Because if they have, you can just leave me to the zombies.
And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist making his professional debut here tonight. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing in at 155 pounds. Fighting out of Los Angeles, California, Durst the Dragon.
In some ways, Hong Kong American martial arts master and movie star Bruce Lee appearing in a UFC game makes perfect sense. The iconic actor was the founder of hybrid martial art Jeet Kune Do, so you might argue, as EA Sports UFC does repeatedly, that Bruce Lee was the father of mixed martial arts.
He is the founder of Jeet Kune Do, and as Dana White calls him, the father of modern mixed martial arts.
In other ways, it's a bit weird on account of how Bruce Lee died tragically 20 years before the UFC was founded and before anyone coined the term mixed martial arts, but now you could try to knock him out as Conor McGregor. The other consequence of EA officially licensing the likeness and name of Bruce Lee for its UFC game is that the comments on any given video about it are half people saying Bruce Lee would be annihilated in the modern UFC octagon, and half people saying if Bruce Lee were alive today, he'd kill everyone with a single punch.
Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water.
If he were alive today, he'd be 82, but I don't think we can rule it out. In any case, I suppose we have to hand it to the EA UFC series for actually licensing Bruce Lee's name and likeness when it could have gone the Tekken route and made a Bruce Lee, named him something else, and called it a tribute. And then had him die in his own ending?
What? What the?
Now that you don't get in EA UFC.
Hey, what happened? Don't die! You still haven't paid me!
Thank you so much for watching this video about the weirdest real people who showed up in fighting games. We love fighting games here on Outside Xbox. So up here, we have another video from us about fighting games, so check that out. And down here, we have a video from our sister channel, Outside Extra. Please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and if you want to support what we do, head to patreon.com/oxclub to join our supporters club. Thanks a lot.